Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at your bank account and thought, where did all my money go? If yes, problem is not your income. Problem is your budget. Most people don't have money problem. They have a control problem. Because without a budget, your money disappears before you even realize it. If I ask you right now where your money went last month, can you answer that clearly? If not, you need to watch this video carefully. First of all, I want to mention that this is already lesson 2. If you want to watch lesson 1 of the Road to Financial Freedom series, you can start from this video. Let's continue our journey. Welcome back, team. If our first lesson taught us the mindset of a financial manager, this lesson is your official playbook. Forget everything you think you know about budgeting. A budget is not a financial prison. It is your ultimate map to personal freedom. Today, we are breaking this playbook down into 5 distinct, high-impact parts to help you master your money once and for all. We have 5 parts, as you see. The first part is the philosophy of budgeting. We kick things off by breaking the psychological chains of traditional budgeting, the freedom of map, zero-based budgeting, and so on. The next part, part 2, is the gold standard, the 50-30-20 rule. We look at the mathematical blueprint used by financial pros worldwide to balance income effortlessly. We will break your money into 3 clear categories. Part 3 is about tracking expenses, hunting the leaks. You cannot manage what you do not measure. In this section, we turn into financial detectives. Part 4 is about strategy. It is cutting the fat. Once we find the leaks, it is time to fix them. This part focuses on tactical execution. And the last part we have is part 5, practical workshop and summary. We don't just talk theory in this class. We build habits. We will close the lesson with hands-on action. And today, we will begin building that road. And the first tool we need is something that many people dislike. A budget. Now, I want to ask you a question, guys. When you hear the word budget, what comes into your mind? Take a moment and think about it. Maybe you think budgeting is boring. Maybe you think budgeting is difficult. Maybe you think I don't earn enough money to need a budget. Or maybe you think a budget is something that stops me from enjoying life. Many people believe that. In fact, most people believe that. And that's exactly why most people struggle financially for their entire lives. Today, I want to completely change the way you think about budgeting. Because if you misunderstand what a budget is, you will never use it correctly. And if you never use it correctly, financial freedom becomes much more difficult for you guys. We'll talk about the biggest misunderstanding about budgeting. Let's start with a simple statement. A budget is not a prison. I want you to remember that sentence. A budget is not a prison. Many people imagine a budget as a list of restrictions. No coffee, no restaurants, no vacations, no fun, no happiness, only saving, only sacrifice, only suffering. This is how many people see budgeting. But that's not reality. A budget is not designed to stop you from spending money. A budget is designed to help you spend money intelligently. There is a very big difference, guys. Imagine 2 people. Both earn exactly the same salary. Let's say each person earns $1,000 per month. The first person spends randomly. The second person follows a budget. At the end of year, which person is more likely to have savings? Which person is more likely to avoid debt? Which person is more likely to feel less stress? Of course, the second person, not because they earned more money, but because they managed their money better. The budget didn't make them poorer. The budget made them smarter. And we have very interesting analogy. The dark forest analogy. Let me tell you a story, guys. Imagine that you are standing inside a huge dark forest. You cannot see very far. There are trees everywhere. The path is unclear. You don't know where the rivers are. You don't know where the dangerous areas are. You don't know where the exit is. Now imagine that someone gives you a heavy bag full of gold. That gold represents your salary. Every month you enter the forest carrying that bag. Now imagine walking through the forest without a map. At first everything seems fine. You spend a little gold here, a little gold there, a snack, a coffee, an online purchase, a subscription, a taxi, food delivery, and other small purchase. Nothing seems dangerous. But after a few weeks, you look inside the bag. Half the gold is gone. Soon even more disappears. And eventually the bag becomes empty, of course. Yet you still haven't reached your destination. That is how many people live financially. Their salary arrives, their salary disappears. And they don't really know what happened. Now imagine the same forest, the same gold, the same journey, but this time you have a map. Suddenly everything changes, right? You know where you are. You know where you are going. You know which path to avoid. You know how much gold you can spend. And you know how much gold you need to keep. The forest didn't change. The salary didn't change. The only thing that changed was the existence of a map. That map is called a budget. Your budget is your map in this dark forest. A budget creates control, guys. It is really important to speak about this. A budget creates control. Let's talk about control. One of the biggest causes of financial stress is the feeling of being out of control. Have you ever looked at your bank account and thought, I don't understand where my money went? That feeling is stressful, not because the money disappeared, but because you don't know why it disappeared. Human beings naturally fear uncertainty. When we don't know what is happening, we become anxious. A budget removes uncertainty. A budget gives clarity. A budget gives direction. Without a budget, money controls you. With a budget, you control money. Without a budget, you react to life, but with a budget, you prepare for life. Without a budget, you become a passenger, but with a budget, you become the captain. And financial freedom always begins with control. And now, I want to introduce a concept that surprises many people. Permission to spend. Permission to spend. It is the hidden power of purposeful budgeting. A budget actually gives you permission to spend money. That sounds strange, doesn't it? Most people think budgets are about spending less, but budgets are actually about spending with purpose. Let's imagine your monthly budget includes, for example, $50 for entertainment. One weekend you go out with friends, you spend $40. How do you feel? If you don't have a budget, you might feel guilty. You might think, maybe I shouldn't have spent that money. But if that spending was already planned, something changes. You know your rent is covered. You know your bills are covered, you know your savings are growing, you know your responsibilities are handled, so you enjoy the experience without guilt. You spend confidently because it was part of your plan. That's one of the hidden benefits of budgeting. It reduces financial anxiety. Now let's compare two different people. Let's compare two different types of people. Reactive people and proactive people. Reactive people wait for problems, then they panic. The electricity bill arrives, panic. The car needs repairs, panic. School expenses appear, panic. Unexpected medical costs appear, again panic. And their financial life feels like a series of emergencies. Now let's look at the proactive people. They know bills are coming. They know insurance exists. They know holidays happen every year. They know school expenses arrive regularly. So they prepare early. A little money each month. Month after month, when the bill finally arrives, there is no stress, there is no panic, because the money is already waiting. This is what budgeting allows people to do. It turns emergencies into ordinary events. And now let's discuss something many of us have experienced. It's our class discussion, the disappearing salary. Think about last month. Have you ever opened your banking app around the middle or end of the month and thought, wait a second, I thought I had more money than this. Where did it go? Let's discuss. What are some examples of small expenses that seem insignificant but add up over time? Coffee, food delivery, snacks, subscriptions, online shopping, taxi rides, convenience purchases. Individually, they seem harmless, but together, they can become a serious amount of money. The problem is not the spending itself. The problem is that many people never notice it. Money disappears quietly. A budget shines a light on where money is going. And once you can see the problem, you can begin solving it. Let's summary of the lesson, guys. The second subpart of our part, Today we learned several important ideas. Let's repeat. Repeat after me. A budget is not a prison. A budget is not a prison. A budget is a map. A budget creates control. A budget allows purposeful spending. A budget helps us become proactive instead of reactive. A budget helps us understand where our money actually goes. And most importantly, a budget is the first practical step on the road to financial freedom. The next subpart, we will learn how to create a simple budget that anyone can use regardless of income level. Until then, track every expense for 1 week. Do not change your behavior. Just observe, simply observe. Because before we can improve our money habits, we must first understand them. And let's move to the next subpart, 2.2. Every dollar must have a name, and every dollar must have a job. And now that we know a budget is a map, let's look at a professional method called zero-based budgeting. Zero-based budgeting. This sounds like a hard math term from a university, but it is actually very simple and very powerful. It means at the end of the month, your income minus your expenses must equal zero. This is called zero-based budgeting. Does this mean you have $0 in your bank account? No. It means every single dollar you earn has a name and has a job before the month even starts. You are the manager and your dollars are your employees. If you don't give an employee a job, they still sit in the corner and do nothing. Or worse, they will leave your company. Think about this carefully. A company never pays employees without assigning work, because paid but unused work is waste. Money works the same way. If a dollar has no plan, it automatically becomes waste. We have very interesting analogy, guys. We call it football team analogy. Imagine you are the manager of a big football team. You have 11 players on the field. Each player is one of your dollars. Player 1, you are the rent defender. Player 2, you are the electricity midfielder. Player 3, you are the investment striker. If you have 2 extra players standing on the sideline doing nothing, will you win the game? No. You must put them on the field. In zero-based budgeting, we don't have extra money. If you have $50 left after paying all your bills, you don't say, "Oh, I have $50 extra." No, you give that $50 a name. You name it, for example, emergency fund or new shoes. When every dollar has a name, it cannot disappear into small invisible expenses. You are giving every dollar a purpose. Most people think money disappears in big expenses, but in reality, it disappears in small bench players, small random spendings that you don't even notice. That's why naming is powerful. It removes randomness. Let's have a little but interesting exercise. The paper money exercise. Let's look at how this works in real life. Imagine you earn $1,000 this month. You give $400 the name rent. You give $200 the name food. You give $100 the name internet and phone. You give $200 the name savings. And you give $100 the name fun. 400 plus 200 plus 100 plus 200 plus 100 again is $1,000. And 1,000 minus 1,000 equals 0. Because your income is 1,000, your expenses or jobs are also $1,000. And this minus that is 0. Now your money is organized. When you go to the cinema, you don't ask, "Can I afford this?" You look at your fun category. If there is money there, the answer is yes. You are not guessing, you are managing. This is the key difference between poor money control and financial control. Poor control is emotional. Financial control is mathematical. When you assign numbers before spending, emotions disappear. Let's talk about 0. Why 0 is the magic number? Why do we want to reach 0? Because unallocated money is dangerous. If you have, as I said before, $50 that doesn't have a job, you will spend it on something you don't need. Maybe a third cup of coffee, or a mobile game or snack you didn't even want. We call these lazy dollars. And in this class, we don't like lazy dollars. We want every dollar to work 24 hours a day to build our financial freedom. Before the month starts, you must sit down and write the names of your employees. You must decide their jobs before you spend the first cent. This is how you take control. 0 doesn't mean empty, guys. 0 means fully assigned. It is like a full football team where every player has a position. Nothing is sitting idle. Most people lose money not because they earn little, but because they don't assign their money properly. And we will have another class activity. Name that dollar. I want you to think about $20. If I give you $20 today, but you must give it a job for your future self, not for today's fun, but future self, what would you name it? Would you name it book fund? Would you name it Apple stock? Would you name it emergency gas? Write the name and the job on your paper. Right, please, I'm waiting for you. See, when money has a name, it feels more important. You don't want to waste book fund money on a chocolate bar. This is the power of zero-based budgeting. Try this mentally. If money has no name, your brain treats it as free. But if it has a label, your brain protects it. This is basic psychology, not just finance. Now let's think deeper. What future problem is this $20 solving? Because every dollar should solve a problem, not create pleasure only. Guys, let's summarize what we learned in this lesson. First, we learned that budgeting is not just tracking money, it is assigning control. A budget is not something you check after spending. A budget is something you create before spending. Second, we learned the zero-based budgeting method. This means incomes minus expenses equals zero. Every dollar you earn must have a name and a job. There is no such thing as extra money. Every single dollar must be assigned before the month starts. Third, we understood the manager mindset. You are not a passive spender anymore. You are the manager of your money. Just like a manager assigns tasks to employees, you assign jobs to your dollars. Fourth, we used analogies like football and company management to understand that idle money is wasted money. We called this lazy dollars, money that has no job and disappears into small unnecessary spending. And finally, guys, we did a practical exercise. Even a small amount like $20 must be given a purpose, because when money has a name, it becomes harder to waste and easier to control. So remember this one key idea from today's lesson. Every dollar must have a name, every dollar must have a job. If your money has a plan, your financial life has control. If it doesn't, then you are not managing your money is managing you. And that's a wrap for Lesson 2, Part 1. Thank you so much for watching and for being part of this journey toward financial freedom. If you enjoyed this lesson and find it valuable, please subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, turn on notifications, and leave a comment below. I'd also love to hear from you what personal finance topics would you like me to cover in future lessons. Write your suggestions in the comments, and I'll do my best to include them in upcoming videos. If you think the lesson could help someone else, please share it with your friends and family. You never know, one video could completely change someone's financial freedom. Thank you again for your support. I'll see you in Lesson 2, Part 2. Until then, take care and keep moving toward financial freedom.